Assalamualaikum and very good day. My name is Nur Fatah binti Azari, matric number 291989. So today I will present about the factor influencing e-hailing choices for commuting to lecture among UUM students. E-hailing services has become indispensable in transportation, offering enhanced flexibility and convenience to the users such as university students. At public universities, there is a growing reliance depends on the e-hailing transport system to get university students to attend lecture due to extreme time constraint. The factor of affordability, convenience, safety, or services quality influence their attention. Hence, raise a question about what drives their preference. In this chapter 1, we will only focus on the problem statement, research question, and research objective. So let's dive into the problem statement. The first problem statement is changing fare rate and unreliable availability during busy time disrupt students' commuting schedule, causing delay and misses chance for academic success. Ongoing uncertainty about transportation can increase stress and anxiety, potentially impacting students' mental health and overall well-being. Gaps in figuring out what exactly influencing the student to pick these services instead of traditional way to get around, like public buses for their own car. Additionally, there have not been many students looking into how factors like safety, trust in services providers, or environmental concern might influence this decision. This brings the research question. The first research question is, what are the demographic characteristics of UUM students that use e-hailing services? Second, does gender impact the price factor, convenience factor, and safety factor for e-hailing service used among UUM students? Third, do differences in primary source of financial support allowance will influence the price factor, convenience factor, and safety factor for e-hailing service used among UM students? And lastly, is there a significant relationship between price factor, convenience factor, safety factor, and attention factor in e-hailing service preference among UM students? So for the research objective is to examine the demographic characteristics of UUM students that use e-hailing services. And second, to examine whether gender will influence the price, convenience, and safety factor in e-hailing service used among UUM students. And third, to investigate whether differences in primary source of financial support allowance will influence the price, convenience, and safety factor for e-hailing service among UUM students. And lastly, to analyze the relationship between the price, convenience, safety, and attention factor in e-hailing service preference among UUM students. In chapter 2, we only focus on empirical insight that lay the foundation for research design. So the first one is the determinant of Generation Z intention to use the Grab e-hailing services by Ubaidah 2019. Price significantly influences Generation Z's decision to use the e-hailing services due to their limited disposable incomes. And the second empirical review is influence of perceived value on satisfaction and continuous users attention e-hailing services by Yap and Yip 2020. In their research, they found that convenience play a significant role in influencing satisfaction and usage of e-hailing services. And the last one that support my research is the e-hailing services in Malaysia, current practice and future outlook by Jais and Marzuki 2020. In their research, they say safety is a key priority for students when selecting transport option, and e-hailing services offer features to address this concern. A consensual framework is crucial to explain the relationship between all the variables in this research. For the research design, first type of study, a quantitative approach was adopted to gather measurable data from significant sample size source of data. Primary data was collected via Google Form, and secondary data was obtained from UUM Student Affairs Department and population and sample. The study focused on 19776 undergrad students using 3G and Morgan's table 1917. We determined a sample size of 118 respondents selected through convenience sampling. For the demographic background of the respondent, 53, which is 29.4% are male, and 127, which is 70.6% are females. By years of study, first are year 1 students in the current year, 41 or 22.8% are year 2 students, 99 or 55% are year 3 students, and 28 or 15.6% are year 4 students. By faculty, 95 respondents are or 52.8% come from the College of Business (COB), 46 or 25.6% from the College of Arts and Science, and 39 or 21.7% from the College of Law, Government and International Studies. Lastly, on the allowance received every month, 63 or 35.0% receive below 300, 76 or 42.2% receive between 301 to 600, 36 or 20% receive between 601 to 900, and the least 5 or 2.5% receive above 900. Lastly, their financial supporter includes parents for 57 or 31.7%, financial assistance from part-time job for X or 44%, PTPTN for 72 or 40%, MARA for 25 or 30.97%, and JPA for 8 or 4.4%, and others for 10 or 5.6%. We continue for the descriptive analysis. From the table, presented descriptive statistics for 4 variables related to the study on factors that influencing e-hailing users among 180 respondents. The mean score for price, convenience, safety, and intensive factor are all moderates, ranging from 3.6372 to 3.8072. The standard deviation for these variables range from 0.64540 to 0.8025x, indicating acceptable variability in the data. This is because standard deviation values not greater than +2 represent measurement closer to the true value than those that fall in the area greater than +2. This moderate mean value and standard deviation indicate that the response had reasonable, consistent perception of price, convenience, safety, and intensive factor. The highest standard deviation is observed for the convenience factor, 0.8025x, while the lowest standard deviation is observed for the safety factor, 0.64540. Independent sample t-tests are used to see if the means of the two independent samples differ significantly. The independent sample t-test will be used to test the hypothesis to address the second objective. Now, we continue with the first variable, which is price factor. From the table, we can see that the male respondents had a slightly higher mean score, which is 3.7113 compared to the female respondents' mean, which is 3.6827. Levin test confirmed the assumption of equal variance, P equal to 0.131, which is P over 0.05. Despite this, the analysis revealed no statistically significant difference in price factor of e-hailing services used among UUM students. Therefore, HO failed to be rejected. This outcome aligned with the finding of Sabar 2023, who found the price to be the factor that affect the choice to use an e-hailing services, but not the most influencing one. Therefore, studies show that while the price is significantly attracting customers to the platform, there is no significant difference when the male and female respondent were surveyed. On the table, we see the female respondent reported a higher mean of 3.8425 compared to their male counterpart with a mean of 3.7226. From the Levin test for equality of variance, P equal to 0.250, hence P is over 0.05, thus assumption is met. However, the result did not reveal any statistically significant difference in safety factor of e-hailing service used among UUM students between gender. Thus, HO is not rejected. This aligns with the finding of Jais and Marzuki 2020, who noted that while safety features like driver background check, transport tracking, and the ability to share ride detail with others are important for students, there was no significant difference between genders in their perception of safety. From the table, the female respondent have higher means 3.6814 as compared to the means of the male respondent 3.5792. Levin's test supported that the assumption of equal variance P equals 0.652 is over 0.05. Nonetheless, the T results show no meaningful difference in the convenience factor of e-hailing services used among UUM students across the gender. Consequently, HO is retained. This finding resonates with the Yap and Yip 2020 that discussed how convenience is a significant factor in the satisfaction and usage of e-hailing services, particularly noting that convenience is essential regardless of demographic factor. Analysis of variance ANOVA is a statistical test used to assess the difference between the means of more than two groups. A one-way ANOVA will be performed to test hypothesis 1 and 2 to address the third objective. So we look on the first variable, which is the price factor. Based on the tables, there is a significant difference in the price factor of e-hailing services used for different primary sources of financial support among UUM students. The p-value is 0.037, which is not greater than 0.05. Hence, HO is rejected. Following M. Mellon et al. 2021, price is considered one of the most influential factors of intention to use Grab, which significantly affect younger demography because of the limited budget of their disposable income. This calls for the affordability since the students are very sensitive. The second reason is the convenience factor. Based on the table 4.4, there is no significant difference in convenience factor of e-hailing service used for different primary sources of financial support among UUM students. The p-value is 0.06x, which is greater than 0.05. Hence, HO is not rejected. According to Muhammad Nizar, MD Nor 2021, He emphasized that convenience is a critical factor influencing customer satisfaction in e-hailing services. They specifically discussed key elements like booking efficiency, real-time tracking, and cashless payment, which are universal appealing regardless of financial support sources. So the last variable is the safety factor. Based on the table 4.4, there is a significant difference in safety factor of e-hailing services used for different primary sources of financial support among UUM students. The p-value is 0.026, which is not greater than 0.05. Hence, HO is rejected. According to Theo, Mustafa, and Rosie 2018, safety is the strongest factor influencing customer choices of e-hailing services. The study found that commuters, particularly university students, are highly concerned about safety features such as driver background check, secure vehicle condition, and real-time tracking. Different multiple regression analysis in order to explore the relationship between independent variables such as price factor, convenience factor, and safety factor, with the dependent variable being the intention factor. The regression model will determine how much variation the predictors are contributing to every intention factor. First, we go to the first variable, which is the price factor. From the table, we see the result show that the regression coefficient value of the price factor variable at 0.155, while the p-value was 0.035. Thus, this is telling that price factor and intention factor are significantly different, which means to reject the null hypothesis. Therefore, the rejector has all stated that the variation of price factor lead to the variation of intention factor. The finding is spotted of Theo et al. 2018, where they mentioned the price was one of the key variables affecting consumer intention to use e-hailing services. In addition, their findings indicate that affordability and cost transparency were related to user decision, especially university students with low budgets. Next, we continue with the second variable, which is convenience factor. From the regression analysis, the convenience factor has a coefficient of 0.312 with a p-value of 0.0000. Thus, there exists a significant relationship between coefficient factor and intention factor, and for that reason, HO is rejected. This means the convenience is a substantial determinant of intention. As Lim and Fernandez 2022 point out, it will take so much less time and effort compared to traditional transportation, given the fact that on-demand ride can be booked directly through the apps. The convenience and flexibility, especially for students who have a tight schedule, will especially appeal to their partially for efficiently in the time usage. The last variable is the safety factor. The coefficient for safety factor from the analysis is 0.403 with a p-value of 0.0000. From this result, it can be stated that there is a significant relationship between safety factor and intention factor, and therefore HO should be rejected. The decision to reject HO proves that the safety consideration is one of the crucial elements driving intention. Of the three predictors, the safety factor has the most significant coefficient. It is therefore the most powerful variable for predicting intention factor. The finding also corresponded with that made by Kadel et al. 2023. It was established that safety factor, such as a real-time GPS tracking of location, identification of driver, and return of the vehicle, increase the confidence of passenger. University students are most likely alone traveling long distance from home. Therefore, these measures are taken to be their assurance for security. Policy implication. University Utara Malaysia in the area of affordability, reliable and safe transportation. Discussion at the university on special packages or discount fare with the e-hailing provider that could be provided for the students. The policy would decrease financial costs and improve students' mobility for further access to better exposure with educational and other opportunities. The university can also provide workshop on awareness program with regard to the responsible use of e-hailing service about personal safety and sustainability commuting. The university could help facilitate the partnership between e-hailing companies on designated pick-up and drop-off area in campus area to ensure order in commuting. High priority placed on safety. E-hailing companies should enhance safety and measures such as robust driver background check, vehicle condition monitoring, and emergency response systems. Incorporating features like SOS button and ride-sharing alerts could further reassure students about their safety. Limitation of study. The flood that took place in Pandai Timur unexpectedly, which really devastated the life of a lot of would-be respondents. Since the questionnaire was conducted online via Google Forms, students in the affected area struggled to participate due to the poor or no internet access, overcrowded, and damaged infrastructure. So the student has extended the semester break by additional a week to give some relief and support for the flood victims. This was helpful and allowed more time for response, but it wasn't enough for full recovery or shifting of focus back to academic matters. And finally, conclusion. The study in the end achieved its aim to investigate the relationship between the dependent variable and independent variable of price, convenience, and safety concerning UUM students. Result of the analysis show that all factors contribute significantly toward the intention of students, and safety being the critical determinant factor among convenience and price. Demographic and financial variables give further meaning that e-hailing services should be attuned to meet the needs of a diverse population, limit to the data collection since response around Pantai Timur experienced a flood, and response-led may be useful for university policymakers and providers of e-learning services to improve their accessibility, safety, and affordability of the services. Expected outcome are to inform the development of safer and more reliable options for student transportation with further stimulation of research in the emerging area.